The Forrest Fenn hidden treasure. This treasure was discovered by Fenn, a pilot in the Air Force in the 1960s, who regularly flew his plane to Pompeii to look for artifacts. After diagnosed with kidney cancer in the 1980s, Fenn decided to hide his most beloved artifacts and give everyone clues to find his treasure, which he estimates to worth around $1 until $3 million. The treasure of Jean LaFitte. Jean LaFitte and his brother Pierre were French pirates who attacked merchant ships in the Gulf of Mexico. After Jean LaFitte died sometime between 1823 and 1830, the legend of his treasures began to circulate around Louisiana. Many believe that Jean's treasure is buried somewhere in Lake Borgne, in Brittany, right off the coast of New Orleans, and another treasure is believed to be about 5 kilometers east of the Old Spanish Trail near the Savine River and the Gum Tree Grove to be exact. The Oak Island Money Pit. This treasure is believed to be located off the shores of Nova Scotia. The existence of this treasure started circulating at the time when piracy was at an all-time high. Back in 1975, a teenager named Daniel McGinnis claimed he saw a mysterious light coming from the island, and after some investigation, the boy found a small circular hole. Even though Daniel and his friends found nothing in the alleged man-made hole, its legend grew multifold. The gossip goes wild, and everyone from President Roosevelt to big corporations have tried their hand at finding the treasure, which many believe to be a pirate treasure. The golden owl hidden somewhere in France. Someone with an alias Max Valentine decided in 1993 that he would make everyone in France into a professional treasure hunter. He later hides a golden owl somewhere in the French countryside. He also added that anyone who finds it will get 1 million francs. Thus, he went on to give 11 clues of the owl's whereabouts, but up to this day, the golden owl still hasn't been found. However, in an interview in 1999, Max mentioned that one person came very close to finding the golden owl. The $63 million hidden in Bedford County. Thomas Bailey and his fellow collegians want their kids to work hard to find the wealth that they had accidentally discovered while mining somewhere in the Rocky Mountains. Thus, Thomas and his partners decided to create 3 jeepers, one with the name of Thomas and his collegians' skins, one that contained the exact descriptions of the treasure, and one with the exact location. Thomas and his collegians entrust an innkeeper named Robert Morris. Morris was supposed to wait for 10 years before opening it, so if Bailey did not return to the box, a key to the jeeper was supposed to be mailed to Morris, but the key is never arrived to Morris. In short, there are silver and gold worth $63 million somewhere in Bedford. I'm just sitting here. The most best treasure in Virginia. It's clear to see. Confederate Commander Colonel John Singleton Mosby found a burlap sack containing $350,000 worth of gold, silver, and family heirloom during one of his many raids during the Civil War. Even though John wanted to take this loot and retire as a rich man, he was unable to do so because he was responsible for the 42 other men he captured during the raid. So he asked his trusted men to bury the treasure between two large pine trees. Sadly, his trusted men were captured and hung to death. Leon Trabuco's gold. During the Great Depression, Leon Trabuco and some of his business partners decided to hide 16 tons of gold in the New Mexico desert. They believed that the price of gold will significantly rise after the Great Depression, thus they decided to keep as much gold as they could. Unfortunately, Leon and his partners held on to their treasure a little too long. Because after the Depression, private ownership of gold became illegal. After the Gold Act was legally implemented, Trabuco and his partners were found dead, but the existence of their gold is still unknown. The Lost Treasure of the Alamo. Alamo witnesses one of the most epic American battles in history, but Alamo is probably more known for the legend of the Saba treasure, which is supposedly buried somewhere on the ground of the Alamo. This treasure is said to contain millions of dollars of gold, silver, and religious artifacts that were initially supposed to be used to build an army and pay for the upcoming war. The Victoria Peak treasure in New Mexico. During a cold morning in 1937, Doc Nose was looking for some fresh water near the Hambrillo Basin in New Mexico. During his search, he discovered a tunnel sort of thing, which had a ladder that was leading down below. Doc later decided to inspect the tunnel-like things, and when reaching the bottom of the pit, he found over 200 gold bars. When Doc later decided to explore the land to make entry bigger and hoping to find more gold, the impact of the explosion made during the process, making it impossible to reach the treasure, since the entry was literally buried by the explosion. Many have attempted to find the hidden treasure, but up to this day, the treasure is still unknown. The $200 million of the curse in Key West. In 1622, many cargo ships disappeared as they were caught amidst a raging hurricane. These cargo ships were carrying approximately $700 million worth of gold and silver. In 1985, Mel Fisher found $500 million of the buried treasure near the coast of Key West. In addition, the experts still believe that there is still a lot of treasure to find.